Today is Sunday, the 12th of July 2020. This is a Health 1 video on the latest version of Health 1, 8.7.4.2682 and higher. In this video, we're going to talk about some improvements we've made to Healthmail, in particular with regard to sending prescriptions to pharmacies via Healthmail. Here we have a patient file open and we have a prescription ready to send. So I click on print and I click my set to pharmacy. So I choose my pharmacy here, and with this version of Health 1, this is the first change, that we have a new little icon over here on the right, the red little one here. If you click that, you get a list of all pharmacies in the country, with the nearest pharmacies to you filtered first. So if I wanted a list of all pharmacies in, say, Ballyhaunis, I'd just type in Ballyhaunis or Carndonagh, for example, or anywhere else in the country. So once I do that, if I choose a pharmacy and say OK, it will automatically be added to the database. And if I highlight it and click OK, it'll go in there. Next thing I'm going to do is actually click on email. We have made some changes to this screen. The first thing is that the screen is bigger and we have a scroll bar so we can scroll up and down through your prescription. The second change is that the date of the transaction is taken rather than today's date. Also note we have the patient information is coming in with the prescription, and for control drugs you can see that you have the amount in words and figures. Now this words here appear only if the drug has been marked as a handwritten drug and has this symbol here. I'm going to just show you this because this has proved a bit of a problem in the last version. So if your drug is ticked here, handwritten, then the prescription will be printed in words and figures. If it's not ticked, it won't. And some people have lost the handwritten attribute in the last version for some reason. You can manually tick it as you go along, or you could, by displaying a list of drugs, click on prescription and update the handwritten attribute and set it. And in this case, I'd be setting it for every single drug in the database, 26,000 drugs. So I'm definitely not going to do that. But I'm going to filter this list by the ATC code. And I know that my opioids are analgesics M02A, and I just select them in my list. If I now click on prescription, update handwritten attribute and set it, I'll be setting it for all 207 drugs. And once it's set, you'll see a hand here when you're prescribing it. And when you print it, either on paper or by email, it will have the details of the drug, both in words and in figures, as you can see from the resulting screen here. You have the Palexia in words and figures. Health 1. You can also send an email from within the patient file when the prescription manager is open directly to the patient by clicking on File and Export. The word export is there because you do other things besides send emails. You could send to the patient file via this method. But here we're going to send an email directly from Health 1, and we can send it to anywhere we like. But we're going to have nothing in the email except the email itself. So we click on this here and we say OK. And in this case now we have a new email with nothing attached, but we have a box here, an icon here with an envelope, and this actually contains the patient's emails. So in this case I have 2 emails recorded for this patient in the administrative file. If I pick one of them, then I can send an email to the patient. I can write text here saying that his drugs have been sent to the pharmacy, for example, or I could add that text to one of my templates here, which you already know about. In this case, I have adapted template number 3 to give the patient's details. Your prescription has been sent to your nominated pharmacy, and I've spelled that wrong. And I could just send that to the patient, and the patient will get the email. We will also be implementing a situation whereby we can send a instruction leaflet to the patient as regards his recurring repeats and ordering, his repeat ordering. The thing we have made some changes with for this video are in the view healthmail.ie, which everybody has already had, and it shows you your inbox for your practice and your private email via Healthmail if you have it configured. So this is displaying the practice Healthmail email list. You can configure this here, and you can put in your private email here if you like. We don't. We want all our Healthmail email addresses to be sent by the practice, not by the individual doctor. We have an advanced tab here, which you needn't worry about for the moment, but Healthmail will be changing their credentials and their way of doing things, and Health1 will automatically pick these up. But in the future, should we need to change these, we can do it by just going into advanced. Also, the number of emails you view here was not correct up to now. It always, Health1 missed the last email, and now they're all present. And just for the purposes of this video, I should also remind people that if I pick an email such as this one, you can see that there's an attached PDF, and I can send this directly into the patient file. So this is, I can look at the PDF by clicking on this button here before I send it, just to be sure I'm sending them the right thing. And in this case, it's an ECG, and I can scroll down and see the ECG and the details and the interpretation of the ECG. So I'm happy that that's that. I can select the patient that is going to be integrated to by clicking on this button here. And that can be any patient. But if I have a patient automatically opened, then this patient will be in the drop-down list here, so I can just choose this patient. So I'm going to integrate this result into John Atkins' file, and the specialty is going to be cardiology, and I'm going to integrate it. When you're integrating stuff into the patient file, if it's over 500k, Health1 will warn you that it's more than 500k, so be careful. In this case, I'm happy enough with 900k, and I'm going to insert it into the patient file. Now you can see when you exit the prescription manager altogether that I have a new transaction in here, cardiology, with the ECG here, and I can just double click on it to view it. And there it is. I exit that, I go back into the patient file. To summarize, so this is a Health1 video showing you the Healthmail function improvements in version 8.7.42682 or higher. This version of Health1 will be distributed very shortly to all users. Thank you very much.